On the news, gunmen hijacked school bus in Ondo State. Ganduje raises alarm over alleged gathering of bandits in Kano Forest. And CBN moves to revive cotton, textile and garment sector. Glad to have you join us on News Now. I am Folashade Ogurinde. President Muhammadu Buhari has urged the international community to support the development of resources in the Niger Basin area. Buhari made the appeal after declaring open the virtual 12th Summit of Heads of States and Government of the Niger Basin Authority (NBA) on Wednesday. Buhari was the outgoing chairman of the NBA Leaders Summit, also used the occasion to give account of his 5-year stewardship piloting the affairs of the institution.
It is therefore necessary to continue to promote its enormous potential for the benefit of our people and to improve the socio-economic development of the region. Excellencies, it has been a privilege to lead this summit of heads of state and government for the past 5 years, since you all unanimously endorsed me as the chairman at the 11th summit held in Cotonou, Benin Republic on 8th of January 2016 to lead our common institution. Of the several decisions taken at the summit, only the decision on funding of the NBA 2016 to 2024 operational plan is yet to be fully implemented. It is pertinent to note that there are some ongoing programs like A. Support to groundwater management in Niger Basin. Projects 2. To strengthen NBA and its member countries' technical capacity and human resources for improving transboundary groundwater resource management in the Niger Basin.
Deputy President of the Senate, Ovie Omagege, has condemned the call for a new constitution, noting that granting such a request would be impossible. The Deputy Senate President revealed this at a 2-day national public hearing on the review of the 1999 Constitution in Abuja. Omagege said the Senate Committee on the Review of the Constitution is working in accordance with the extant legal order, which is the 1999 Constitution. Senate President Hamad Lawan also advised Nigerians with present views to build a national consensus around them to ensure the amendment of the Constitution scales through.
We are conducting this exercise in accordance with the extant legal order, which is the 1999 Constitution. Specifically, Section 9 of the Constitution empowers the National Assembly to alter the provisions of the Constitution and prescribes the manner in which this is to be done. Unfortunately, it does not make similar provision or provide mechanism for replacing or rewriting an entirely new Constitution. To embark on any process without prior alteration of Section 9 of the Constitution to provide the mode through which an entirely new Constitution could be written will amount to gross violation of our oath of allegiance to the Constitution. In other words, it will take a new constitutional amendment to Section 9 to be able to give Nigerians a most desired new Constitution. It will be unconstitutional to do otherwise.
The Senate therefore deemed it important to create avenues for the development of our Nigerian citizens. That is why we will not merely stop at inviting people to make written submissions, but have gone further to organize oral hearings to give citizens greater opportunities to make inputs more than before. We all know our country has been consistently reminded that there are flaws in our Constitution. There is a deep concern among legislators and other stakeholders, just as there are divergent opinions on what we should do to remedy the flaws.
The Federal Executive Council has approved 9.2 billion naira as premium for insurance companies that will manage the group. The life insurance for federal civil servants. This was among the contract approvals the council granted during its weekly virtual meeting on Wednesday. Details in this next report. At the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting, presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari, Nigeria's health ministry was given a boost through the approval of the establishment of an oxygen production plant for COVID-19 pandemic intervention in each of the 36 states of the country. While briefing State House correspondents shortly after the meeting, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, who represented the Minister of Health, Osage Ehanire, said the decision was part of the administration's efforts towards addressing the challenges posed by the coronavirus pandemic.
At the beginning of the pandemic, many people thought ventilators would be the issue. But as the pandemic is now mutating and changing, oxygen has become the most critical issue. I think many of us who have watched what is happening in India in particular will see the wisdom in the federal government ensuring that at least each state of the federation has an oxygen production plant.
Also speaking on behalf of the head of service of the federation, Mohammed said FEC approved 9.2 billion naira as premium for group life insurance for federal civil servants in the country.
This is part of the government's program to take care of the welfare of all the public employees, so that in case of death, at least they are assured that there will be compensation.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Finance, Budgets and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, said she briefed the Council on the latest National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) report on the 0.5% growth of the country's gross domestic products.
The improved economic conditions that has been reported is indicative of the fact that 23 out of 46 activities recorded positive growth in the first quarter of 2021 compared to 17 in the previous quarter. And also, there is a further illustration that the slow but gradual recovery process is indicative of the fact that business operations are returning to normal and that restrictions of movements and commercial activities have been relaxed after extended close down in the year 2020.
On his part, Minister of Environment Mohammed Mahmood said the Council approved the revised national policy on climate change.
We all know climate change is really a topic of the day. It has a serious implication on economy, livelihood, the environment in general. And while climate change affects everybody, but we realize that it affects women all the more. This revised one has also taken into consideration the national policy on gender and climate change to include women in almost every aspect of the planning, the execution, project execution that has to do with climate change.
The minister, however, clarified that since women are most affected by climate change, the revisited national policy will include women in every aspect of the planning and execution of the projects. Folashade Ogurinde, TV360 News. Moving on, Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje has raised alarm that armed bandits have taken over forests in the state where they may be planning to carry out attacks. The Kano governor disclosed this while meeting with the Chief of Army Staff, Major General Farouk Yahaya, at the Defense Headquarters on Thursday. He said despite efforts of the state government to open up the forests, the bandits are grouping in Falgore Forest. Ganduje pleaded with the Nigerian Army to hasten the work training depot at the Falgore Forest so that the military can take over. He also assured of the commitment of his administration and the security agencies to sustain the relative peace in the state. The Defense Headquarters says speculations of mass retirement of some generals in the Nigerian Army following the appointment of Farouk Yahaya as the Chief of Army Staff is not true. The Acting Director of Defense Media Operations, Bernard Onyeuko, denied the reports while briefing newsmen on Thursday in Abuja. TV360 Simisola Adigun has the details.
Following the appointment of Major General Farouk Yahaya as the new Chief of Army Staff, There are rumors that about 30 generals will be forced into retirement. This is because the new Chief of Army Staff is a member of Course 37 of the Nigeria Defense Academy, while there are still members of Course 35 and 36 still in service. By military tradition, members of Course 35 and 36 still in service may be forced to end their careers, with their junior staff now appointed as Chief of Army Staff. Acting Director, Defense Media Operations, Brigadier General Bernard Onyeko, at a press briefing in Abuja, said the rumors are unfounded and not true.
I wish to use this medium to dispel such unfounded rumors. Retirement is only on voluntary basis for senior officers who desire to do so. At this point in time, no retirement has been authorized by the military high command.
Brigadier General Onyeko also gives updates on the operational activities of Nigerian troops in various theaters of operations between 20th May and June 2nd, revealing that the inroads made by the military is testament to the unwavering resolve to ensure the return of peace to the country. He maintains that the military and personnel of other security agencies are resolute to take decisive and adequate actions to abate terrorist and bandits' activities as well as other vices in Nigeria.
Troops on 23rd May 2021 repelled members of the Independent People of Biafra and Eastern Network criminals' attack on troops at Amoka village in the local government area of Enugu State. Furthermore, troops arrested some Independent People of Biafra and Eastern Security Network members, including one Mr. Black, who has been on security operatives wanted list at Ikot Akpan town in Esien Udim, local government area of Akwa Ibom State. The criminals are reportedly among those responsible for the current wave of attacks, killings, and burnings of police operatives and police stations in the southern part of the country.
The military appreciated the general public for the support, while soliciting for credible and timely information that will facilitate proactive engagement in the theaters of operations. Simisola Ajigun, TV360 News.
The Niger State government has assured that progress is being made in ensuring the release of 136 pupils kidnapped from Salihu Tanko Islamic School on Sunday. The Deputy Governor of the state, Hamid Ketso, disclosed this while giving an update on the situation at the Government House, Mina, on Wednesday. Ketso said the government's focus is on how to secure the release of the pupils on HOT.
A total of 136 students were abducted. This was followed by a briefing on measures being put in place for the safe release of the abductee. In our last update, we disclosed that government was making efforts to identify the bandits, their location through the combined effort of the security agencies. We also confirmed the government had ordered all boarding schools in the area to temporarily revert today. Perhaps the reason the bandits attacked the Islamic school. Government is now in touch with some of the parents of the kidnapped children. They have been assured of the safe return of their wards. We reiterate that our government has been and will continue to support the security agencies with needed logistics to enable them secure the state.
Still on security, a possible kidnap was averted in Akure, the Ondo State capital, today after gunmen hijacked a school bus in the early hours of the day. The incident happened at about 6:45 a.m. when the bus belonging to Chimola School was accosted by armed men while the driver and the staff of the school were moving around to pick the pupils. Fortunately, they were yet to pick any people at the time of the incident. The gunmen then seized the vehicle and drove off to an unknown destination with the staff on the bus. However, hours later, the victim was released. Reacting to the incident, spokesperson of the Ondo State Police Command, Tilio Ikoro, said the incident is a case of theft and not abduction. He noted that the police are on the trail of the hoodlums, hoping to apprehend them and recover the school bus as soon as possible. The lingering security situation in the country is already taking its toll on many Nigerians. Clinical psychologist Folajaye Karim disclosed this during an interview with TV360 Nigeria. While highlighting the impact of rising insecurity on the psychological well-being of citizens, He also called for community support for persons who have been directly affected by the crisis.
A lot of Nigerians are panicking. You know, the media is outraged about a lot of the incidents that are happening in the country. People are beginning to wonder. People are becoming more security conscious. People are avoiding to take risks for work, for school, you know, for travels. Tourist activities are minimizing. You can't decide to want to go somewhere, not especially knowing how risky the place may be at the moment. So yes, it has capacity to impact upon our livelihood as a community, and which is why it is very important that as a society we begin to find out ways at which we can support one another. If you belong to a community that has already been exposed to a certain traumatic event, such as kidnapping and abducting of the members of that community, it is important that the community makes an attempt to form a close social group that will help the members of that community deal with that trauma, find expression, listen to the people who were directly involved with empathy, and try to give what we call psychological first aid, which is basically attending to the needs of those who have been exposed to traumatic events in a way that is extremely humane.
Away from security and now to education, the prolonged controversy and discrimination between higher national diploma certificates and the university degree holders in the country is set to come to an end after a bill seeking to do so skilled third reading on the floor of the Senate. Sponsor of the bill, Ayo Akinle-Elure, explained that it will promote the technological advancement in the country and encourage patriotic contributions amongst HND employees in both public and private sectors.
First degree and higher national diploma shall be deemed construed and treated as equivalent qualification for the purpose of employment and career progression at workplace in the public and private sectors of Nigeria economy. If you look at the content of the law, it says, for the purpose of employment and career progression, not for admission for higher degrees. Many of the graduates are at that level, they are put on equal pedestal to demonstrate their potential ability to add value to Nigerians. But as soon as they move to employment, after graduation, they are issued NYC certificate. They will go into public service, they go to private public service of the nation. This is where this one comes in. Today we are saying, for the purpose of employment, promotion, and career progression in the public or private sector of this Nigerian economy, they should be given level play ground. So that an HND graduate therefore can aspire to become a permanent secretary and director general. The issue of career limitation is hereby abolished.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, injury forces world #1 Batty out of French Open. All this and more after the break. Welcome back. Well, let's now take a recap of some of our top stories. Deputy President of the Senate, Ovie Omagege, has condemned the call for a new constitution, noting that granting such a request would be impossible. Omagege said the Senate Committee on the Review of the Constitution is working in accordance with the extant legal order, which is the 1999 Constitution. We also told you that a school attendant has been released a few hours after some gunmen hijacked a school bus and abducted the staff of the private school on Thursday morning in Ondo State. Police authorities described the incident as a case of theft, adding that they are on the trail of the hoodlums, hoping to apprehend them and recover the bus as soon as possible. In case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are at TV360 Online. The World Health Organization, WHO, said on Tuesday it has approved a COVID-19 vaccine made by Sinovac Biotech for emergency use listing. This will allow the Sinovac shot to be included in COVAX, the global program providing vaccines mainly for poor countries, which faces major supply problems due to curbs on Indian exports. WHO Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus welcomed the move, calling the vaccine safe and effective and noting its easy storage requirements makes it suitable for low-income countries.
I'm happy to announce that the Sinovac CoronaVac vaccine has been given WHO emergency use listing after being found to be safe, effective, and quality assured following 2 doses of the inactivated vaccine. Furthermore, the easy storage requirements of CoronaVac make it very suitable for low-resource settings. It's now the 8th vaccine to receive EUL by WHO. It's now crucial to get these life-saving tools to the people that need them quickly. Overnight, I joined leaders from the International Monetary Fund, the World Trade Organization, and the World Bank Group in publishing an op-ed in many newspapers around the world that calls for a new commitment with a $50 billion rapid investment to fund the equitable distribution of vaccines and other crucial health tools.
We'll take a break here and return with more stories in business. Just stay with us. Welcome back. Well, let's now join Oyin Adekunle to bring us up to speed on the latest in the world of business and the stock markets. Over to you, Oyin.
Thank you very much, Falashade, and welcome to Business News. The Central Bank of Nigeria is set to resuscitate the cotton, textile and garment sector as it plans to increase cotton production, the capacity of ginneries and textile companies in the country. This was disclosed by the CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele through the Apex Bank's Twitter account during its cotton, textile and garment sector stakeholders engagement. Emefiele said the CBN will be working with associations that have repaid at least 70% of their existing loans to cultivate about 80,000 hectares of land with an average output of 120,000 metric tons at 1.5 metric tons per hectare. Well, we'll take a pause here and return with stock market review. Well, the bulls pulled the plug on the reign of the bears in the stock market today. As we can see, all share index, crucial market indicators rising today by 0.17%. We also see that market capitalization, which was about 19.9 trillion naira yesterday, rose today by about 1 billion naira to close at 20 trillion naira. Moving on now to the gainers chart, we see University Press Limited led the chart of gainers today. 1.5% rise today from 1 naira 40 kobo price yesterday, followed by Badger Paint. And conversely, on the losers chart, we see CWG from the ICT sector leading the losers chart today, and Union Bank of Nigeria from 5.95 naira its value of share prices yesterday, and it closed at 5 naira and 55 kobo at the close of trading today. And in summary, about 249 million shares worth 1.8 billion naira exchanged hands in 3,524 deals. We move on now to the foreign markets, where we see Dow Jones closed poor today after a moderate poor session, closing by 0.61%. But we see that it's so far so good for Dow Jones, and of course Nikkei is also closing in the greens with 0.39% increase. Well, that's it on Stock Market Review. It's back to you now, Folashade, for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Onyi. Let's now move on now to the foreign scene. The U.S. State Department is offering a reward of $7 million for information leading to the location of Al-Qaeda's Northern African Region branch leader. Algerian Abu Yusuf Anabi is the leader of the terrorist group in the Islamic Maghreb. Anabi took over in November last year following the death of his predecessor during a French operation in Mali. Well, up next is Entertainment Report.
Forbes Africa recently unveiled its 30 under 30 class of 2021, and impressively 6 Nigerian creatives made the list. They include filmmaker and creative artist Stefan Michael, American-based filmmaker Amarachi Nwosu, star singer Rema, PR guru Timileyin Bello, and Temidayo Onioshun. This year's list marks a historic turn, as many businesses and brands were adversely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Now in its 7th edition, the Forbes Under 30 list, published annually, seeks to honor trailblazing Africans under the age of 30 who are innovative entrepreneurs, tech geeks, sports stars, and influential creatives leading Africa. Winner of the Big Brother Naija Season 4, Mercy Eke, is billed to star in Trips, an Ogele flagship series, alongside Mr. Macaroni and Father DMW. The flagship series by the streaming platform is set to follow the lives and experiences of 3 taxi drivers. It also stars popular comedians Mr. Macaroni and Father DMW. The story centers around Chidi Ebere, played by Mercy, a female driver with a myriad of cash woes, Sikiru, played by Mr. Macaroni, a married cab driver who is a chronic womanizer, and Baba Goslow, played by Father DMW, a highly obnoxious fellow. Trips, which will be directed by Otu Injama and produced by Osita Okparaugo exclusively for Ogele, will be Mercy Eke's first major role in a film production. And that's all we have on the entertainment segment of News Now.
Away from entertainment now to sports. Ashley Barty, the #1 ranked player in women's tennis, is out of the French Open after aggravating a left hip injury during a second-round match with Magda Linette on Thursday. The Australian, who won the title on her last visit to Roland Garros in 2019, left the court for medical treatment after losing the first set 6-1. She had struggled with a hip problem during her first-round win and called it quits at 2-2 in the second set. Well, it's a wrap on our news bulletin. Thank you for watching. I am Folashade Ogrinde.